Welcome back one and all to Let's Play Langrisser 2, where we are embarking upon Scenario 2, Setting Off. Elwin safely escorted Liana to Lord Lauren's manor in Salroth. There it was decided that they would seek refuge for Liana at the Temple of Light in Estol. But Imperial forces were preparing to invade Lauren's manor. Commander Zorn, General Vargas's right-hand man, led the mission to abduct Liana. Conditions for victory: Liana reaches the top of the map, or all enemies are wiped out. We're defeated if Liana or Elwin dies. Neither of which seems very likely, right? Because we know what we're doing. And it's just the second battle, so it's not going to be that tough that fast. Now here you'll notice the item shop actually has some decent items for sale now. Gonna pick up that Warhammer. Decent boost in attack. Nobody can use the cross right now, so we're gonna hold off on that. And a little birdie told me that if we play our cards right, we're actually going to receive one for free, so we're gonna wait for that. Cause birds don't lie, right? Nah. Now this great sword is a very useful item. I've only picked up one for reasons that will soon become clear. And we're gonna give that to Elwin because he, well, being the hero, you sort of want to prioritize him. And since Hein can't use the Warhammer, we're going to give that to Scott, and the shield as well, because he's going to be operating a bit of a solo mission. I mean, he's going to have the NPCs to help him, but yeah, it's the same thing, because NPCs, we've been there, we've seen that. We're going to reserve our points just a little bit, not going to go all out. I don't think we need to. Now, one thing that's helpful about this game, as opposed to the predecessor, you can actually examine the enemy as well as the NPCs before the fight begins, so you're better able to plan your strategies in advance this way. So as you can see, we're fighting a lot of soldiers. But first, a little exposition. I'll give everybody enough time to read this. Now that's one difference in Der Langrisser. In that one, Lauren all but pushed Scott into joining us, whereas in this one you can see Scott volunteered eagerly, so lots of little mild changes there to complement the more significant ones. temporary moment of reprieve is over just that fast. We've got to deal with these guys again. Zoram there is a face that you're going to be seeing quite a few times, similar to Leon and Laird, so best get used to that mug. Now Scott, we're going to send him down here to deal with Zoram, along with his father and some other generals. They actually can hold their own in this fight, unlike a lot of NPC battles, so not really going to worry about keeping them alive. They can do that just fine on their own. Meanwhile, Hein and Elwin are going to travel up north, and Liana's probably going to follow them, but she's going to take her sweet time doing so. If past experience is any indication, at least. So right now it's a little congested, it's a little crammed, so we're going to go where we can. We really don't need to stay in our command range right now because there's no opposition immediately in front of us. So we just need to go as far as we can. And I should take a moment to review again. For those of you who are just joining me, this again is not going to be a casual LP so much as a very thorough, comprehensive walkthrough. I'm going to 100% this game to the best of my ability. What this means, again, is no deaths for any of my generals. All items collected, including the secret items. All secret scenarios uncovered. And all NPC civilians spared. Because in this game, you actually were rewarded quite often if all the NPCs live at the end of a battle. Unlike Warsong, where there was really no consequence either way. They live, they die, game don't care. Everything just keeps moving forward, as if they never existed. Not here. Your actions and your inactions do matter. So with that being said, it's gonna make a few of these fights very, very migraine inducing. For me, not you. But I will do what I have to do to keep everybody alive. I'm also not going to be abusing the saves in this game. Very useful feature is the interruption, where you can save in the middle of a battle at any turn, at any point, and resume from that point. So if you're in the midst of making a big decision that could blow up in your face, you want to take some precautions, you can save and retry it if you need to. I'm not going to do that. The only situations where you'll see me save in the middle of a battle is when I'm just pressed for time. You know, other life things going on and I just can't finish the battle, because they can take quite a while. It's not uncommon for them to take over an hour if you're going for the maximum experience, which I will be doing for various reasons. You definitely want your XP in this game. Outside of that, you won't be seeing me save. I will not be using any cheat codes or level skips or anything of the sort, no debug. As per usual, I like to play things legitimately, so it's the same here. Because again, it's not much of a walkthrough if I take the easy way out and expect somebody else to be able to follow along, trying to play it traditionally. No, I want to show you that as nail-bitingly tough as this game can be, it can be completed, and it can be completed competently. So, that having been said, I think that covers all the basics. I'll also take moments here and there in the midst of each new scenario to pause and just be quiet and let you really enjoy the soundtrack. Because there's a lot of different music in this game, and it's just very good. That's really all I can say. As with Langrisser, that is Warsong, both the player and the enemy sides have their own unique tunes to accompany them at the start of each phase. This fight is basic by the numbers, just like the first one. After this, things start to get a little bit more interesting. But for right now, you basically have Knight General, a bunch of fighters, a bunch of soldiers. Nobody's very powerful. No Leon or Laird. Zoram is pretty manageable. Elwin could take him on one-on-one actually. But he's kind of got other things going on. Scott is going to get into the action right away though. Babyface Scott there. Don't let the face fool you. And that's why I only gave him a few soldiers, because it's so hard to get around in here. It's almost no point. In fact, I probably could have sent him in solo. But it's okay. It's all for the sake of getting more experience. More swords, means more turns, means more attacks, means more XP. And he's gonna need it to catch up. Because Elwin and Hein are already doing pretty good. They're both at level 3. And before this is over, they're probably gonna have a couple more. Because I don't think I'm spoiling anything by letting you in on the possibility of a sneak attack in our near future. I'm not sure what this is called in the soundtrack, but this is the same song that plays at the start of a scenario. Also a very good track, so definitely want you to enjoy that a little bit. Just rousing, isn't it? Yeah, they done goofed up now. Just like before, going outside of their commander's range. Without those bonus stats, they're pretty much sitting ducks. Except ducks would even be putting up more of a fight at this point. And Liana's catching up slowly. But this is good, we like her in the rear, where it's nice and safe. And that knight is the only threat on that side, really. I'm gonna do my best to get Scott some experience, but those guys like to kill still, and that's probably what's going to be happening. Scott has the potential to become a very capable fighter, but he's very underwhelming in the early stages, so we're going to have to be very careful with how we place him and who we put him up against. But it's moving along briskly. We're already at turn 4. Seems to be clear, so oh. I spoke too soon, didn't I? And unlike some NPCs, she actually listens, so she's safe. We want Elwin to take point here. I wasn't exactly sure when they would be triggered. I thought maybe I'd have to go past the rocks, but just reaching the rock seems to do it. This is good to know. Yeah, so again, I'm never going to be the person to try to deceive you guys or present myself as something that I'm not. Now, I haven't played this game to where the ins and outs basically look like the back of my hand. I've played it just enough to feel comfortable going into these battles with strategies prepared to meet all of my goals, including finding those Speedboots for you. So you see there, Scott was placed under the coat of arms. You'll have to place one of your generals there in order to recover this secret item. The first one we've seen in the game. The first of many. Now keep in mind, even if you know the spot on the map where the secret item is located, you have to stand there with one of your generals. If one of your troops stands there, nothing will happen, so be careful about that. Speedboots, as you can imagine, will boost somebody's movement by 2. What makes it such a great item, though, is it also includes their troops as well. So here's Lauren on the attack. Very good stats, 32-30. So he is safe and sound. They can't touch him. I dare Zorn to try. It's going to end very quickly for him. And also we get our first look at the archers in this game, known as the elves. We have to assume they're elves because they're wearing helmets. We can't see those ears. There's no indication that they're not human. But that's what they say, so hey. Not as overpowered as they are in Warsong, but still good units. Their defense is much lower. That's their way of balancing them out, since they can attack from a distance now. So you have to be very particular about where you put them, so that you don't lose them immediately. They can dish out the damage though, so ain't nothing like having that distance attack. And even though they're not the best units against knights in this game, that goes to the pikemen, they're still very good, especially when they're getting a decent attack bonus. Just get them out of the way, that's all. Keep them in the back. Archers to the back of the bus. And we also see some bandits, barbarians from Warsong, they're returning as well. the Sheikah tribesmen just as pointless and pathetic as they were in that rendition, so you never saw them. I mean, really, I don't even know what the point of them is. Their commanders at least can cast a thunder ability, but we don't have any Sheikah commanders in this scenario, so much for that. And we're at turn 5. Finally gonna see some action, I think. Go for it. I mean, they're already at 4, so. Oh, by the way, let me just mention this now in case anybody is misunderstanding. When I say this is going to be a no-death walkthrough, playthrough, I'm referring to the generals and the NPCs and civilians only. This does not include my troops, because the mercenaries, there's no getting around it. We're going to lose them. Now, I would like to go through the fights losing as few of them as possible, but in certain situations, putting them on the chopping block ensures the safety of everybody else, the ones who actually matter. So, sad to say, but yeah, some of them are gonna have to go. Now, I believe it started with Langrisser. I know it applies in the Saturn version of Langrisser 1 and 2, but at some point they introduced a mechanic where you can actually earn the ability to command more mercenaries depending on how many survive the battle, and I think your command bonuses go up as well, possibly. I'm still figuring it out, seeing how it goes, but that doesn't apply here, so again, they are completely, sadly, expendable. But if and when I get around to posting playthroughs of some of the later Langrisser titles, you will see me adjusting my strategy accordingly. I'll probably be even more particular about how many I bring to battle, going as sparingly as possible to ensure that they survive. Because anything you can do to increase your numbers in your attack and defense is not something you want to miss. But anyway, we're just kind of crunched up here. Just sardines in a can, just trying to get out, trying to flip our way to freedom, and it's a trial. It's an effort. Meanwhile, Scott down here, he's kind of barreled and crabbed himself, isn't he? As well as his men. All of whom are still with us, so that's a plus. Mostly due to lack of action than anything else. And Lauren, even though the knight has the type advantage against him being a knight, still utterly powerless against those stats. You want to abuse the type advantage as much as possible, but when your characters just have the raw stats in their favor, you're safe to venture out against Unit 2 under other circumstances. More even playing field would have the complete advantage against you. And my goal is to get Elwin so strong by the end of this that he will be, in fact, in those shoes, being able to stand up to the strongest knights and just knocking them down with the force of a hurricane. But we'll actually stop the video here before the enemy begins their 5th turn. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day, and hopefully, see you soon.